The mythical Pokemon Genesect is returning to Pokemon GO's raids, and the reason why you need to care about that is because this is a super easy raid boss that you could take down with very little trainers, and even possibly you can solo it. And I'm going to be talking about how you can do that in this video. Let's get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So there are a few raid bosses that are of legendary quality or higher that you can actually solo. We of course just had one, which is of course Attack Form Deoxys, and we're following that up with yet another legendary quality raid boss that you can actually take down just by yourself. That is of course if you have the best of the best counters and the right conditions, as well as if you are high enough level with all of your Pokemon maxed out to a high enough level. But I do think Genesect is pretty big because on top of this Pokemon being somewhat relevant when it comes to raids and I guess even PvP, this is one of those raid bosses where if you were to get a high IV shiny of it, it's actually going to be quite rare. The reason for that is of course because you can't trade for Genesect, very similar to Deoxys. It's a mythical quality Pokemon, so unfortunately there are trade restrictions that prevents you from getting this Pokemon from another player. So if you were to raid a whole bunch of them and end up getting yourself a high IV shiny, that is definitely going to be a collector's item that not many players are going to have. But aside from that, I will say that Genesect has kind of fallen off over the years. It's not necessarily going to be a top tier bug type anymore, but I still think there are reasons to go for this Pokemon, specifically because of just how easy it is. That's going to allow you to farm it up for rare candies and rare candy XL without ever running the risk of losing out a raid pass because you did not have enough players. And then on top of that, right now, of course, we saw an increase to the level cap, so getting experience is very high priority. And of course, the best way to get experience is to pop a lucky egg and do a whole bunch of raids. So yeah, I think right now it's a great opportunity for you to get yourself a whole bunch of resources as well as take down a very easy raid boss. So if you want to take down Genesect with the least number of trainers as possible and possibly even be able to solo it, let's go over how you could take it down. Genesect is a bug and steel type mythical Pokemon, which means it's going to have a double weakness to fire types, and that's pretty much it. It only has one weakness, but it does have a double weakness to that one type. So if you happen to have really good fire types, now is the time to dust them off. Now, of course, because Genesect has some pretty good type coverage, you will want to avoid bringing Pokemon with grass type, poison type, bug, dragon, fairy, ice, psychic, normal, and steel type attacks. Those are going to be ineffective against this raid boss. Now, if you want perfect IVs, it's going to be 2136, that is the magic number, and if it's weather boosted, you're going to want to look for one that is 2671. And Genesect is going to be boosted by rainy weather and snowy weather, which I believe is going to be somewhat common around the world around this time. Now, if you want to secure the win against Genesect, you could easily take it down with just 3 trainers in total in the lobby. Trust me on that. And if you want to challenge yourself, you can solo Genesect. It's just going to require the absolute best counters, but you could also do it with just one other trainer that is at least level 40. Now, let's go over the best counters because this is going to be your key to soloing this raid boss. In terms of Mega Evolutions, you have 2 really good options in Mega Blaziken and Mega Charizard Y, but I tend to have the most success with Mega Blaziken, so if you happen to have any of those in your collection, then you should definitely use it up against this raid. And then Shadow Heatran is going to be a top tier fire type raid attacker, and then of course there is Shadow Chandelure, which is a very big powerhouse when it comes to fire type raid damage. And then rounding out the non-Shadow Pokemon, there is of course Reshiram, which has always been a tried and true fire type raid attacker, as well as Blacephalon, which is a fire type glass cannon you should not ignore. Now, if you do not have any of these Pokemon, you could also go with regular Chandelure as well as regular Darmanitan. Now, like I said, for all of these Pokemon, having fire type attacks is going to be key. If you're bringing Mega Blaziken, make sure you go with Fire Spin and Blast Burn, and the same obviously goes with Mega Charizard Y. Blast Burn is the Community Day move for both of these Pokemon, and it is their hardest hitting move up against Genesect. Now, if you're bringing Shadow Heatran, make sure you go with Fire Spin and Magma Storm. Magma Storm is, I believe, a legacy attack, so you might need to use an Elite Charge TM if you do not have that move on a Shadow Heatran. And then if you're going to bring Shadow Chandelure, you're going to want to go with Fire Spin and Overheat. And then Reshiram's best moves is going to be Fire Fang and Fusion Flare. And then Blacephalon is going to be Incinerate and Mystical Fire. And just like Shadow Chandelure, regular Chandelure is going to have Fire Spin and Overheat as its best moves. And then with Darmanitan, you will want to go with Fire Fang and Overheat. So yeah, I will say this boss is incredibly straightforward. Basically, if you have really good fire types like the ones that I mentioned, then you're going to be able to take it down and possibly be able to solo it. This is a raid boss that I've been able to solo, and it's mainly because I have some really solid fire types, and I really do think it's one of the easier raid bosses that we can have that is of legendary quality. So yeah, definitely go out there, take this boss on. If you want to try for a solo raid boss, this is definitely one to try it out. And maybe if you're having some trouble, you could just do like one remote raid invite, try to get at least one other player in, and you're almost guaranteed to take it down. It's just super easy. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I just wanted to give my thoughts regarding Genesect. I know this is one of those raid bosses that a lot of players tend to ignore and tend to neglect, but I think there are merits to raiding this Pokemon, and maybe it is best that you save your raid passes. You don't have to necessarily spend all of your premium raid passes on this Pokemon, but at the very least, you could spend your daily free raid pass and get yourself some free rewards, and that's probably the best you should do. But let me know your thoughts regarding Genesect down below. Are you going to be going after this raid boss? Is there a particular tip that I completely missed? Definitely share all of that in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and also don't forget that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to permanently add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts, different things like that. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. Just so you know, space is limited, but yeah, if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, that is definitely something worth considering. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @CountJinsula. I'm on the platforms you see right now on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. That'll be a huge help to my channel, and you'll have access to some exclusive content. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm CountJinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Jinsula